In the world of sports, competitiveness, gladiator sport, competing, you have to literally manifest your opponent, your opposition, your enemy. And they have to do the same thing, vice versa, because you consciousness, they represent subconsciousness. Same thing. Their consciousness, you represent their subconsciousness. I'll give an example. Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov, they had met earlier on in their careers. Conor as the consciousness, Khabib as subconsciousness. Khabib as consciousness, Conor as his subconsciousness. And they had promised each other that they would train together or spar together and and train together. Now, if you know anything about fighting, you know that fighting is basically a very hard sparring session, a fighting bout. And they had both manifested this fight. Connor had created a cause and effect process where he threw something at the bus. Khabib got upset and he decided to make the match. Cause and effect. They had both manifested each other. Therefore, they had both manifested the outcomes of what happened. Khabib reigns on top. Conor McGregor loses. Conor had manifested this whole law of attraction thing with his whole career, and he had done the same thing with Khabib. He had caused an effect, a bad ripple effect. He'd become a bully, and it resulted in him losing. Khabib had created an effect of a person who is standing up to a bully right after a bully creates a cause, and his effect to that cause was the karmic effect of loss. You see, the build up, if anyone sees the build up, Conor was trashing on Khabib's um, religion, his wife, his team. He was operating on the lower three chakras: root, sacral, and the solar. Yeah. He wasn't operating like a true martial artist in terms of respect, humbleness, um, sportsmanship. The three levels, the three higher levels of the chakras. You see, it works in sports. It doesn't only work in your own your regular world. The metaphysics, the science in sports is actually real. You see, and Khabib didn't create that sort of karmic energy around him because he had always approached his other opponents with a sign of respect, with a sign of I'm going to win, with a sign of humility, and he would always and that's what made him undefeated. That in itself, he was calm and he had loved himself enough to have created this undefeated streak. You see, he was operating on the higher levels of consciousness to have manifested his reality, and that's what Connor did. He had operated on the three lowers and he had manifested his loss. Khabib had manifested his win from even before the match and the bell had rung, guys. You see, it operates on the same thing: astral plane, physical plane. Khabib in his mind saw himself winning. Conor in his mind saw himself competing. That's why he lost. Conor was all about the build up and the match, the bout. But then in the second round, you could almost see in the face of Conor McGregor the doubt. There was a lot of doubt in his mind, and that's when he had created the reality of loss. Khabib had no doubt in his mind that he was going to destroy not only Conor but his entire team, and that's what he did. He had kept the thought in his mind so deep that he had manifested into reality, where he had submitted Conor McGregor, and after that he had just went ballistic and attacked his whole team. These are actions that were built in both of these character's mind and thought. What do we know about thoughts? We know that thoughts create realities and manifest into the physical realm from the astral plane through metaphysics and science. It's the same that goes with these two warriors. Khabib had manifested in his mind that he would defend his honor, his family's honor, and his wife's honor by defeating this subconscious mind of his that is manifesting as the enemy. And that's what happened in his physical world. Connor had kept the thought of, this is my enemy, I have to kill him, I have to humiliate him, I am the king. There was not there was not a single thought in his mind that was resonating with how he was operating. You see, because you can't think of yourself as superior when you're operating on the three lower states of pain, victimization, and gluttony. It won't work the same because then it can't match that frequency. You see, he had to have meeting his match for the operation he was operating in on, and therefore his outcome had created that sort of subconscious figure, which was Khabib. That's why he had to have an humbling. It's all a karmic effect for what he had done, throwing that wheelbarrow at his bus. He had created an effect of humility where Khabib would strangle the living shit out of him, and he would lose that fight, lose his reputation of being king, and would lose almost his entire pride of a fighter. Because we all know who he is after that fight. We all know who Khabib is after that fight. Because two people took two different paths to a situation that they had both created. You see, one came with pain, bullying, one came with honor and respect, and one got what one created within their thoughts. Guys, I say this all the time. Metaphysics is connectivity. We're all connected. You see, it's the science within it. It's the esoteric science within everything, including sports. If you get it, cool. If you don't get it, listen to it again. This is Metaphysics Sessions.